I'm Mike Shrews.
And I'm Tivis.
And you're listening to
The MunsterCast.
Episode 39. Yeah. Welcome back, everybody, to the MunsterCast, the podcast where we watch and talk about the Munsters. I am, of course, your host, Mike Shrews, here with my co-host and friend, Tivis. Tivis, how you doing today, my man?
I'm doing pretty good, As we record this, it's my wife and I's 14th anniversary, so we're going to go out tonight, have fun.
Shit. So we probably shouldn't go 5 hours then.
But we're also 31 days from the movie.
Yeah.
Each week we do this, I get more and more excited.
Right. Yeah. It's coming up really quick. I'm hoping that the DVD or the Blu-ray, whatever it was, I think it was the Blu-ray that I pre-ordered. I hope that I get it on the day and that they're not shipping it out on the day. I'm not sure how Amazon does with the pre-orders, if they make sure
it usually arrives, but I mean, with the logistics problems going on, who knows?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Anyways, sorry guys. Real quick, dirty business. You can find the MunsterCast on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And of course, you can see our pretty ugly faces on the YouTube via the MunsterCast YouTube channel. You can also email us at themunstercast@outlook.com, and we have been enjoying the emails that we have been getting from people. We've been getting a few more lately, which is awesome. Getting to hear people talk and praise and love the Munsters. We don't care if you praise our show. We just care that you're talking about the Munsters in some fashion. If you want, you can also go to iTunes, Spotify, Podchaser, all those other places, and leave us some likes, reviews, whatever. Anything that helps us know what you guys are enjoying or not enjoying definitely would help out.
Tell us what we could improve on and not just be a little whiny bitch dude who keeps coming back.
Yeah. We could talk about that later.
Or we don't have to. I just want it out there that
right.
Got a problem, come find me.
There's a spam commenter out there, unfortunately, who keeps coming back, even though
I don't care if you don't like the show, but at least tell us why you don't like it. Don't be an ass.
Well, from the research we've also done too, he does it to every show basically he comments on, so that's always fun.
Yeah.
And you can also go, if you guys can't like comment on certain websites, like if you don't have an iTunes account, don't have like a Spotify account, whatever, you can also go to themunstercast.com and leave us a review directly on the website. It doesn't show up on all those streaming services, but we at least get to see it, and that's the whole point of the comments. I don't care about the algorithm streaming. Well, I care about the algorithm pushing us up, but I also care about just hearing from you guys, the fans. So you can always go to themunstercast.com and find the review tab up in the corner, I believe it is, and just click that, leave us a review. You can be anonymous, you can just put your real name, you can put a fake name, it doesn't really matter. Anything so that we can hear from you guys. And you can also, when you're on themunstercast.com, go to the right hand side of the screen and click the microphone icon and leave us a little voicemail. So you, instead of trying to figure out how to like use GarageBand or like recording a memo on your phone or something like that, instead of doing all that fun stuff, which I know everyone thinks is really fun, right? You can just click that button on the website and it'll send us a direct voicemail from you. Definitely let us know if you're okay with us sharing that on the podcast, because it will be something that we can do to integrate our fans and you guys out there onto the show in a more prominent way than just being like, oh yeah, I read this email from so-and-so, and going that way.
Even if you're not a fan of us, and again, just a fan of the Munsters and want to say something about the show, tell your friends that are into it. Tell them to leave one. We'll play it anyway. We don't care if they listen to us or not. We are more focused on getting people more into, these characters, the shows themselves. Like, it's so nice to see a resurgence for these really great series, I think.
And the nice thing is too is like, you don't necessarily just have to comment about our show, comment about the Munster show, comment about Rob Zombie's movie coming out, or when it does come out, you can leave us some stuff about like your opinions on that. I know Twitter's gonna blow up with everybody's opinions on the movie as soon as it drops.
75% of them won't even watch it.
Yeah, half the people that are gonna shitpost on it.
I guarantee it's gonna be over half.
And we say that too because me and Tivis also do like a pop culture podcast where we've seen this type of behavior on Operation Babel. We've seen this type of behavior where people won't even watch the product, but they'll like watch a review of somebody who didn't like the product and then just go
act
based
like
on
they've
that.
seen it and know what they're talking about.
Right. So if you guys want to check out that show, we haven't done an episode in a while, but it is called Operation Babel. You can find that everywhere on podcast services as well. And last but not least, Tivis, do you want to do this one?
If you enjoy our show, you want to give us some, like $1 or something to show your support, you can find us on Patreon. Honestly, just talking about, again, talk about the franchise, spreading word of our show, leaving reviews, giving us $1, whatever. All of that helps. Like, if you can't do any or all of them, any one, that's good with me.
Right.
Oh, also, we have merch.
Yes. We got the if you go to themunstercast.com/merch, it takes you directly to our shirt store where we have some cool shirts coming out. A new one just dropped this week. So as you're listening on Monday, the shirt has already been out. The tweets and the Instas and the Facebooks and all that have already shown images of it, so you can definitely check it out. It is a version of Lily Munster as the logo for the MunsterCast. So you can both represent Lily, because we know a lot of people love Lily Munster, and you can also represent the podcast as well at the same time. And it's actually a really cool image, so I enjoyed making that one, definitely.
It looks great, too.
Oh, yeah. Heck yeah. And we're just going on right now about this because we only have one episode to talk about today, guys. Like,
we're on the finale. We are done with the OG show after today, and it's both sad and exciting.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Definitely sad and exciting. And I'm looking forward to everything moving forward because we're going to start movies and all the other stuff. So that'll be interesting to see where our mindset goes, especially once we get away from the original cast, dude. Like, I'm interested to see how well I'm gonna enjoy some of these other pieces, because I've never actually seen any of the Munsters films ever.
I definitely seen the 90s.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the one that early on when I said that I thought there was a few episodes that aired, were colorized. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure I was confusing that movie. Yeah, I remember watching that.
Yeah,
a lot with my dad. So
the only stuff I had ever seen as a kid was the black and white show, and that's it. I do not recall seeing the movies at all when I was younger. I mean, maybe the Munsters Christmas one, I may have seen like a clip or two, possibly like a commercial or something, but I do not remember seeing any of that stuff. Yeah.
I mean, I got it behind me, but I haven't watched it. So I'm waiting for the show.
But yeah, anyways, that's what we're really looking forward to getting to after we finish this. Like Tivis said,
want to lay down the roadmap that we have ahead right now, or do you want to?
Not yet. We can do that after we talk about this episode. So do you want to talk about the episode real quick?
Sure, let's get into it.
Awesome.
Excuse me, I got a Dr. Pepper today. This final episode is called A Visit from the Teacher, Season 2, Episode 32. Overall, this is Episode 70 of The Munsters. So we're ending on a even number, which makes me happy. Aired. I'm weird.
I
if you haven't got that, I'm weird. Aired.
short story real quick. Not really a short story,
All
but
right.
it's a sad story. When I
Oh,
go
well,
to a
why would you tell
restaurant,
it?
I go to a restaurant and I pull a napkin, I have to pull 10 exactly. It's some like OCD random ass shit. And if they don't have 10 napkins in the napkin holder, I flip the fuck out. And I have to go up to them and be like, "Can I get like 2 more napkins, please?"
I'm not that bad, but I have to grab 5 every time. 2 for me,
Yeah.
2 for the wife, and an extra one for if either of us need it.
See, I'm lucky at least I have like 2 kids with me, so when I'm pulling 10 napkins, I don't look like a complete creep, like a complete psycho, but or a complete messy man.
What is it about number? We are getting on a tangent.
Anyways, yeah.
Yeah. This aired May 12th, 1966. Written by Joe Connolly and Bob Mosier, with Norm Liebman involved. Directed by Ezra Stone, who has become our MVP director throughout this show. He has taken on like pretty much the later half of the series. And I hope we see him again for Munsters Today.
Yeah.
So we have 3 guests for this final episode. Willis Bouchy. I'm pretty sure I screwed it up before. They played Mr. Bradley, who was previously the judge on John Doe Munster. Pat Woodell as Miss Thompson. Now, they just got done playing Bobby Joe Bradley in Petticoat Junction, which aired from 65 to 70. They left in 65. So,
Okay.
yeah. And also known for her role as Heather in the 1973 The Roommates.
Okay.
And then we have Mel Blanc, still uncredited as the Raven.
Yeah.
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 Couldn't even give him the final episode, huh?
And I love how they just say uncredited. Can we just go back in like when you redid the DVDs and just put the dang name in there? Come on.
Yeah.
That's crazy. All right, is that it for guests?
Yep, that's it. Last
right.
guess.
So season 2, episode 32, A Visit from the Teacher, May 12th, 1966, as Tivis previously stated. When Eddie reads a school composition entitled "My Parents, an Average American Family" to his class, his teacher believes the boy is exhibiting symptoms of an overactive imagination. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, they way overreact.
Yeah, they do.
Let's jump into this. We open with a shot of the exterior of the house as a bolt of lightning strikes across the sky and thunder booms. It's an awesome sight.
Yeah.
We cut to Grandpa in the lab, who's laughing maniacally and tells Marilyn to turn up the rectifier to 9,000 volts. Then switch the oscillator from negative to positive. Marilyn wonders what she is helping with, and Grandpa says he's once again experimenting with moving electricity because it worked out very well last time. He wants to harness the lightning outside and save on the electric bill.
Yeah.
The machine sparks and he is overjoyed at his success. Then we go cut to the kitchen where Lily tells Herman to just take the toaster he's currently fixing to the store and get it done right. Herman tells her they don't call him Handy Herman for nothing.
Handy Herman.
Eddie rushes into the kitchen and asks him to help.
I feel we've already shown that Herman can't fix anything.
No, not at all. He's just trying to save a buck. He's
right.
Very cheap family.
Yeah. But yeah, Eddie rushes in with his notebook in hand and starts talking about how he has a composition he has to write for English class.
For his new teacher.
For the new teacher. Yeah. What the heck is going on here? Oh, that's the bottom of my computer in the camera. There we go. Sorry, guys.
Herman says he'll help when he's done with the toaster. as Grandpa is about to transfer the stored electricity to the house. Herman finishes the toaster and plugs it in. He gets electrocuted. The toaster sparks like mad. His bolts light up, and he falls right into the breakfast table. Lily asks Eddie what his composition subject was, and he responds with his family. She says when he wakes up, he'll be able to help.
He says, "Oh, go on."
I was gonna say he just lays there unconscious with his bolts flashing.
Yeah. But Eddie, that's when Eddie says the subject matter is my parents in an average American family, and then we pan over to Herman on the ground with his bolts still like on.
Yeah.
Like
that's a relatively new effect, but it's awesome.
Yeah. And I'm always curious why they think that the electricity would hurt Herman in any way or knock him out, because that's how he was born. He was born in it. Kind of like Bane, I was born in the darkness or something shit.
I mean,
like
too much of anything that's good for you will hurt you. We know that.
Yeah, I guess, but maybe I'm just thinking of like how Iron Man used Thor's like lightning to like boost his fucking suit.
Yeah, I call bullshit on that a bit, but comics. It should have short circuited his fucking.
But anyways, then we go off. This is where credits hit, right?
Yeah, this is our last intro. I'm gonna miss this. No, not our last intro. Our last with this intro.
Yeah. Then we come back in, and Lily and Marilyn are both baking away in the kitchen. You stopped.
Yeah, I was moving my notes.
I thought I like missed something for a second. I was like, wait a minute, I didn't miss anything. No, they're cooking away in the kitchen. I didn't know that those kind of blenders were around in the 60s. I'll be honest. I didn't know that.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't know that. Like I've seen like the ones that we have nowadays done retro, and I just thought it was like a retro style. I didn't realize that they were actual blenders back in the day.
My grandparents had one of they lived through the Depression, so they were hoarders, and they kept everything until it literally stopped working.
We had these things that were called hands and wrists and whisks, and that was my parents' blenders.
Dude, my grandparents okay, I'm gonna get another tangent. I'm glad we have a lot of time this episode. My grandma's microwave took 10 minutes to cook a bag of popcorn because it was so old and probably killing us all with radiation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I remember when I was in college, we took apart some microwaves, and the main core that you're not supposed to expose it. Literally, when you open it up, it says "Do not expose this." Like, do not take this plate off because this causes radiation. They took it off anyways. And then they were going to plug this shit in. I was like, you cannot do that. Like, I had to force them to not plug it in. And then I see some guy just grab it and chuck it out the bay door into this dumpster. I'm like, you're going to blow us all up, bro. Like, can you please just chill? Like, you guys need to learn what electronics you can and can't do that with. And I'm not saying like you can't just toss a microwave, but when it's so exposed like that, it could cause a spark, it could cause anything, and something could have blown up. Like, it was crazy. Anyways, I didn't realize that those things were around back in the 60s, so
yeah. So as you said, they're in the kitchen making sour apple pie, which we're hitting apple season, and I can't wait. I love apple pie. Eddie is.
This is when Marilyn asks, "How many spoonfuls of vinegar do we put in this? 2 or 3?" And Lily's like 3. And she's like, because we want to make sure it has flavor. And I'm just thinking, bleh.
Yeah, I was thinking the same. I like apple pie, not sour apple pie. They're wondering where Eddie is because he normally wants to lick the spoon when they're done.
Yeah.
And Lily says he's working on his paper. She's sure the new teacher will love it so much her eyes will pop out. I don't know if she means literally or not. It's hard to tell. Lily then goes to Based. That's a weird autocorrect there. My notes. Based her dodo bird roast. It's getting harder to find these on the market.
Yeah.
Marilyn is excited that Grandpa finally has an invention that is working, which is kind of harsh. Lily adds some cactus to her smoothie. Boy, they're really making a lot in this scene. She turns on the blender, and the power to the whole house dims and shuts down. She rushes to tell Grandpa. He yells back that he's working on. I'm working on it.
Leave me be. I'm working on it, woman. That's basically
I know.
how he acts.
It's like the lights are off. I noticed.
No, duh. Except for this whole episode, nothing in Grandpa's lab turns off.
He's got his own generator. You know that. Lily goes back and tells Marilyn that it'll be back soon, and she wishes she waited before being nasty to the electric company. Or wishes Grandpa waited before he was nasty to the electric company.
Yeah. Because Marilyn's like, this is one invention of Grandpa's that works, and then Lily goes, at least so far.
Yeah, and then everything fails. Meanwhile, in the basement, Grandpa smacks his machine to turn it back on, and it goes into overdrive.
Which I'm curious though, because they say in like you said, Lily said something about Grandpa being nasty to the electric company, which means the electric company most likely is not supplying them electricity. It's supposed to all be coming from Grandpa, but Grandpa's machine originally ran off of the original electrical grid. So how the hell is anything working without the electrical grid?
Magic.
I would assume that his thing would be just an amplifier for the electricity, possibly. Unless he created his own arc reactor in the basement.
This is an Iron Man heavy episode.
Yes, it is.
Did you just watch that or something?
No, I did not.
Yeah, I don't know. The only explanation is that Grandpa has to have his own backup generators because he's cunning like that. He probably put them in that secret room they found.
Yeah. Maybe. Wait,
so
the backup generator or the electricians?
Maybe both. So everything goes into overdrive. The dodo bird flies out the window. It's just sad because they're running out of those. But Eddie runs down, watches all this, and he begins to log it into his paper.
Yeah. He says, "Oh, great! Finally, something cool happened. I was starting to think this family was boring."
Yeah. Should be for most of the time. If you didn't describe their features, it probably would be.
Yes,
they're just normal people.
They're just a normal family, but the way you have to describe their describing the features and the way their house is and stuff. Although when we hear in a minute here, we'll hear the composition being read aloud. He doesn't really describe the house in the way that the house is visually seen by us.
Yeah.
So
we cut to the living room where Lily is playing the organ and Grandpa and Herman are singing with her. No smoke is coming out of the machine this time, probably because they realized it's hard to sing in a smoke cloud. And breathe, probably.
Yeah. Or they've been playing for so long that we can just assume all the smoke has come out, all the dust has flown out.
Yeah, let's go with that. Marilyn brings Eddie into the room to announce he finished his paper and he wants them to read, or he wants to read it to them. Grandpa wants to hear his part first because it will obviously be the best. Lily wants her part that she helped with, and Herman says, no, he'll start at the beginning, which is about me.
Yeah, he's like, it just so happens to be about me.
Notice Marilyn doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, I don't even think she's barely mentioned in it, and when she is mentioned in it, it's very
Call her ugly.
shit on. Yeah,
They're
so
her afflicted cousin or
yeah.
his afflicted.
So he starts to read the comp work, and as we do this, we get a nice little like kind of fade into him doing the exact same reading, like almost beat for beat. They actually did a really good job of this.
This is
cut,
a great transition.
They transition into him being into his classroom, where I assumed he was reading it to the class, but he was just reading it. We find out he was just reading it to his English teacher and the principal at the school at the time.
Which is weird that he's involved.
I don't think they really had like social like worker stuff in the schools back then.
Yeah, you know what my principal did at my school? Jack shit.
Ass.
It was the vice principal who did everything with the students. He punished us. He was at assemblies with us. Like, the principal didn't do anything with us.
I guess. When I was in elementary school, the principal he did everything in all the elementary schools I went to.
Okay, that's fair. That's very fair, actually. I'm thinking of high school, because I remember my elementary school principal. He was a cool dude.
I don't think we had a principal in high school.
You probably did. That's a dean. Where the hell did you go? A private school?
Well, the first year I went to high school, I did go to a school that, a boarding school. That's what it's called. I was trying to think of the word.
Yeah, it might probably a dean then.
So we had the dean there, and then when I went back to public school, I don't recall ever meeting the principal, but I didn't really. I guess if I ever did anything bad, I never got caught doing it, so I don't know.
The only time I ever saw my high school principal was when the superintendent was coming to town.
Well, okay, so let's real quick back into Eddie seeing the principal. So because you would have thought that, so Eddie reads his composition paper. Okay, whatever, and then he's like, "All right, may I be excused? Can I leave now?" Because the teacher just wanted him to read it for the principal. So we're getting this idea that the teacher might think Eddie's just a little cuckoo in the head. And the principal grabs the paper from Eddie and excuses Eddie. And then we see that the principal is kind of worried that he's making this stuff up because he's actually in a lower class, poor like environment. So to heighten himself up, to make himself feel better, he imagines everything.
He's creating a fantasy.
Yeah, he's creating the fantasy of like everything's just so much better. Kind of like Sucker Punch, where they just envision themselves as the stupid. Yeah. Did anyone see that movie out there? I've never seen that. Okay, I won't spoil it then. I didn't spoil it. It's literally in the trailer, but still.
No, I've just never seen it. That's one on my list of things to get to.
So the principal thinks that, and he's like, well, we always knew Eddie was kind of a different child. He is the only kid here that has pointy ears, you know. And I'm wondering, I'm like, haven't they met the family already? Like
Marilyn came to the school that one time, and it was a different principal, if you remember.
Yeah, I remember that, but I would feel that people in the school would have known the family because, one, it's in Mockingbird Heights, the school is. So you would think everyone in Mockingbird Heights would know who the hell the Munsters are by now.
They should by now, especially the cops.
Yeah. The police department, I mean, the park service people, like all these like main groups of things should know them. And then my thing is like
all the neighbors that keep moving in and out.
Well, just like, 10 episodes ago, I think it was, or so, 10, 15, something like that. When we had the bully episode, Are you telling me the principal did not communicate with his parents at all after he beat the shit
It
out of
might
the
have just
kid?
been over the phone.
Yeah, I guess, but
Because
I don't
remember, they
know.
did get a phone call. Lily answered and punched
Right,
Herman a bunch.
right.
There are
I
some.
mean, yeah, I guess so.
There's some stuff in his paper I wanted to point out.
Okay, go
He
ahead.
mentions Lily is over 400 years old, so she's robbing the cradle with Herman.
Which I thought they said that Grandpa was only like 300, 400 years old. So
I thought they called him 500.
previously, I thought he was only like 400, 500, maybe. Okay.
Maybe.
I know Herman's 151 now.
Yep. He
By
had a
this time?
birthday at some point
Yeah.
during the show.
Yep.
It's strange we didn't get that episode.
Yeah, birthday episode for Herman would have been fun. I'm sure they would have messed something up, or Grandpa would have done something to his cake or something.
Yeah. That could have been a good one, actually, with the how selfish he can be.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Maybe that was the vacation one where he picked where they went.
Yeah, but he got a lot of shit for that episode, so I highly doubt that was his birthday.
I don't know.
have
Again,
no idea.
let's get back to this episode, though. So yeah, the principal sends him on his way. He's like, "Hey, we'll tell you about your grade later." Yeah, they chat and think, his home life is weird. So he's like, "Hey, why don't you go check it out?"
Yeah. And she's like, "Oh wait, let me guess. You want me to contact them?" And she's like, "Well, you are a new teacher, so maybe I'll go along with you just in case, because if anything
she
is
gets super nervous.
yeah." And he's like, "Because if anything's freaky or anything like that that's gonna mess with you, it won't mess with me because I'm hardened. I'm a veteran, basically, teacher life type guy in the school system. So he thinks he's got it all covered." Flash forward to the dinner table or breakfast table, actually, because they're in the kitchen.
He comments about Herman's height, which it's been changed throughout this entire show. It's either 7, 8. This one, it's over 9 feet.
Tivis.
And he's like, yeah.
The reason for that is sometimes Herman has to get new legs, so he gets taller.
I could believe it. But, yeah, the guy's like, I bet he's just a really short guy.
Yeah. Short guy with like he's scared of everything and jumps
scared of his own shadow.
Yeah.
Which, partially true. We did hear that Herman is no longer afraid of his shadow at times.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. And then we go from the principal and the teacher to the kitchen table where they're eating, again, something. I thought they were eating dinner, though. But
yeah,
Lily's
it's
reading
the dinner table for sure.
Lily's reading the note aloud, stating that they want to come and have a visit to discuss Eddie's composition paper. And Grandpa's like...
They're all very proud of him.
They're all very proud. Every time Al Lewis is pretending to eat something, it's always perfect because I actually believe he's eating something, but he always has a smirk on his face too when he chews. So I'm just like, I'm lost, man.
Honestly, if with him, how few takes they probably take, he might actually be eating.
He might be, yeah.
He's like, I'm gonna sneak some food while we're doing it.
Right.
Yeah. So Herman says he's gonna let Clyde cover for him so he can get home early. Today, so they must be coming over. So it's like they're having breakfast at the dinner table.
Right.
Yeah, but I love the fact that we get another Clyde reference. Continuity in the final episode. I love it.
Yeah.
Marilyn's like, yeah, not anymore. Not since Herman scared the crap out of him. Marilyn says she'll be home to meet the new teacher as well. And Eddie says he already warned his teacher about her. So That's an unfortunate joke that has way overrun its course, but
Right.
you know. Hopefully Munsters today does Maryland justice.
So what does what do the Munsters think of, or like what does Eddie think of his teachers then when he sees them? And they kind of remind him of Marilyn.
That's what I'm saying. There's no reason that they should be treating Marilyn like this when literally everyone else looks like her.
Right.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I'm not
Unless
sure.
there's something about her we don't know.
Like being a succubus. I'm telling you, man. This version of Marilyn is a succubus. I know in one of the movies there's another secret with her, but I know in this version she's a succubus.
Yeah, there's got to be something that, like, I know it's a joke. Haha, she looks different than us. But
Yeah.
I refuse to believe at this point that there wasn't more they wanted to do with the character that they didn't.
Right.
So yeah, Lily will make some snacks, and Eddie asks them not to embarrass him. He tells Lily, "Don't be mom-like." He looks at Grandpa and says, "Don't bring up that we have royal blood." And finally, he looks at Herman and goes, "No jokes." Herman's like, "Well, what do you want me to do? Just sit there and look stupid?" And Eddie says that would be fine.
Yeah.
So Lily asks Grandpa if he's working in the dungeon while they're having tea. Lily asks Grandpa if he's working in the dungeon while they're having tea. Try not to blow up the house. And he goes, "If it's that important to you, I'll make every effort."
What I forgot something in my notes real quick. I want to bring back up when
Yes.
they are talking about his dad. Eddie says that it was Dr. Frankenstein with a do-it-yourself people kit.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he does.
and I was just like, wait, what? So Herman is made from a kit, which would make sense because they all look alike.
Mm-hmm.
So they're manufactured heads, maybe? Herman and Johann and Charlie, at least.
Maybe.
So,
yeah.
Moving forward.
That was a very nice little hint or note there for backstory.
Yeah.
So maybe those blueprints that Grandpa has aren't actually for Herman, but rather the just generic design.
The whatever they are considering what Herman is as manufactured.
Mm.
Yeah.
I really want to know if Herman isn't the first creation from Frankenstein. Like, how many were there? Because we know there's Charlie and Johann.
Well, Johann is definitely before Herman and Charlie.
Yes.
Definitely. I don't know.
I also love that Frankenstein the Fourth said Herman was his greatest, which means even Dr. Frankenstein thought Charlie was pompous.
I do hope in Rob Zombie's The Munsters that he does talk about the fact that Herman isn't the first one that Frankenstein did. Although I don't think it's Dr. Frankenstein in Rob Zombie's Munsters that makes Herman.
There is a Dr. Frankenstein on the cast list.
Is there? Because
I know because the actor was next to Jeff Daniel Phillips at Astronomicon, and I felt awkward because I didn't talk to him.
Oh, okay.
I didn't have the money. I didn't want to bother him. He had people.
Right. Okay. Let's continue on. So we're in the living room now still?
Yep. Lily is dusting the house, literally.
Yeah.
The
vacuum is sucking up the dust all right now. And she complains that the vacuum is running backwards.
Yeah, Grandpa.
This might also be why the organ doesn't have enough dust in it when they were singing before, because she didn't get to her wifely duties of dusting the house.
Yeah, that would explain it. Grandpa's like, "I turned the wrong knob. Hang on."
Yeah. And then she continues on dusting everywhere. Dude, that machine has to be horrible to be like right behind when the dust comes back in your face.
Mm-hmm.
No way. No way. Do you imagine having to do that for 7 seasons, let alone 2 seasons of random episodes? Oh, man.
Dude, I was listening to Derek the other day. They brought up asbestos back then.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that, but oh my God.
Yeah. Yep, asbestos. Especially probably in the walls and stuff like that. Herman probably has it all over him.
Mm-hmm. So, the teacher and principal arrive at the manor, and they are bewildered already. They knock, and Marilyn and Eddie rush. Like, they race each other to the door. As they answer it, Eddie's like, "This is my cousin, the one I told you about."
Yeah.
So they move to the living room. Lily comes in with some food that actually looks pretty good. I'll be honest with you. She then dismisses Eddie to let Spot out, and they hear him roar, and the family's like, "Oof." Or, I'm sorry, the teacher and principal are like, "What the hell is that?" Eddie doesn't want to go, though. He's like, "You guys are going to talk about me, aren't you?" And she's like, "Yes, we are. Get." She then tells the two of them that Grandpa is busy, but he promises to pop out and say hi. So she goes over, stomps her foot out. He pops up holding something that's bubbling out some smoke. Goes, pleased to meet you, with a giant smile, and goes right back down. It is gotta be the weirdest way to ever meet anybody. What the hell was that? They have a gremlin in their floor?
It is Grandpa, so...
I know. I just love that this is his interaction with him.
Yeah.
The Raven pops out for a second, and the teacher notices. He's like, "What was that?" The principal is getting very weirded out by all of this and begins stammering as he's talking. He's like, "I just want to clarify the part about Eddie's father. Like, why? At this point, why?"
Yeah.
But at that moment, Herman comes home, and Grandpa decides to mess with his machine, blowing a fuse, throwing the house into darkness. Herman goes to shake the principal's hand, and he yelps as something big and hairy bites him. A reference to Herman's hands, continuity. Love it.
In the very last episode.
Yeah. Lily scolds him to trim his fingernails. And Marilyn yells at Grandpa, and he yells back, "Working on it." That seems to be like his most prevalent line in this. "I'm working on it." As the principal and the teacher try to leave in the dark, they accidentally get themselves trapped in the phone booth. The family meet them in the hallway, and they finally see Herman.
Well, not only do they get themselves stuck in the phone booth, when the power comes on, the female teacher realizes, "Oh shit, this is a coffin!" Like and they start freaking out more. Like, "We're in a coffin! We're in a coffin!"
It's a sarcophagus.
Notice the phone didn't pop out this time, like it usually
it hasn't in a while.
Yeah.
They finally get a good look at Herman, and Herman gets creepy close to both of them before they just bolt out the door.
The principal's like, "Don't faint till we get outside. Don't faint till we get outside."
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Marilyn says, Marilyn makes a comment that they seem awfully on edge. And Herman says, "Well, on their salary, how often do they get to go into nice places such as theirs?" And Lily 100% agrees.
Yeah, because just like still nowadays, even back then, teachers were underpaid.
Yes. Oh, teachers.
So yeah, because he says, on
any
a teacher's
teachers
salary,
listening to us, shout out to you for just doing what you do with so little.
Yeah.
Little budget, little appreciation.
But on a teacher's salary, he's like, they don't get to see places like this, and then they do something else, and Herman reminds her, that Oh, it's later. I think it comes later. Where they bring up the same thing of the salary for the teachers is low, so that's why she takes a break. The English teacher takes a break from school. Like, she doesn't show up to class the next day.
Oh no, she's there. Because during breakfast a few days later, Lily asks Eddie if his teacher got back to him about coming over for dinner. And Eddie says every time he asks her, she goes white and refuses to give him an answer.
Yes, that's what it is. She does that. And then Herman's like, well, they don't have much of a social life because, they're underpaid and they don't have a whole lot of time.
Yeah. So Marilyn asks what Grandpa's up to now. Lily says he's given up on electricity and now he's working on a water supply system. Eddie thinks that sounds neat. Herman says he will probably drown himself before it works right. And then Grandpa turns his machine on, which turns the house into a water park. Water begins spouting out of the chandelier above them, down the walls, out of the sink. Herman says, there you go, another failure. Everyone but Herman runs out of the room, and Lily's like, Herman, are you going to do something? Herman says, yeah. He goes and grabs an umbrella and goes back to finish his breakfast. And then we get the last time we're going to see this outro.
Ever. And it's sad that we get to end on such a rain. Like, you would wish you get to end on the entire family in the shot.
Yeah.
Instead, we just end on Herman, which kind of makes me wonder, they probably didn't realize they were getting canned at this time.
Yeah, maybe not.
Or this episode may have been shot out of place or something like that, and we didn't get that. So it would be interesting to know a little bit more about that. I'm not sure if it's in any of your trivia or anything, but
no trivia.
So what did you think about this episode, dude? As just, let's say, as an episode period, and then your thoughts of it being the finale as well.
So I enjoyed it. I thought the humor in it was great. The messing with the teacher and the principal was great. Grandpa is wonderful as always. I don't have any complaints about this episode at all, honestly, just by itself. As a finale, as you said, it's a kind of not what I would have expected, but also at the same time, it kind of goes off on all the notes that we love about the show. They're creeping out the teachers. They're bickering among themselves like a normal family. Like, trim your nails, dummy. Yeah. Grandpa's doing stuff that makes the family, unhappy.
Grandpa's making inventions that screw up. Which, from day one, we saw that stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, on one hand, I agree with you. I wish we had got something with the whole family there at the end. But on the other hand, this one episode kind of encapsulates everything about the series.
Right. I do like the episode. It was a fun little episode. As far as watching it and knowing that it's the final episode, in back in the day, they probably didn't know that was going to be the finale or anything, so people really didn't care. Also, we didn't have the internet back then, so people could blow up about, like, what the fuck? That's it? Like, really?
Resident Evil's done after what season? What?
So as far as the finale goes, like, I guess, they kind of encapsulate what the show was for the most part. We didn't have any, like, PSA thing in it, as for some reason a lot of people out there think that the Munsters did like a PSA every episode, and they really didn't. Like,
they did a lot, but not every episode.
Right.
And many times it felt like they were trying to do one, and there wasn't one to do.
Or the whole episode went against what they were saying. in the first place.
Yeah.
So yeah, as a finale though, like yeah, we got to see Grandpa doing his antics, Herman being Herman, Eddie. We got stuff with Eddie. We got stuff with all the characters because they were all doing something, which was nice. They may have been doing things individually. So because you had Grandpa doing his electricity and water thing, you had Marilyn helping doing the cooking, and this is really sexist too. But Marilyn and Lily were basically in the kitchen.
You know,
They were in the kitchen almost the entire episode, except for when they were singing. And then
or in the dining room.
or the dining room. And then you had, you know, the singing, the family singing. So we got to see them as a normal family doing some normal family stuff, cleaning. That's another thing. The women were cleaning too. Oh my gosh. I didn't even think about it.
It's the 60s, man.
Go clean and make me
I
some
would
food.
be interested to see how different they are in the 80s show when times were changing.
Even though the characters would still be in their same.
They would, but it's the writing that's.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I get what you mean. But yeah, so like you got to see everything. Like we even got to see the Raven. I don't think we
see Kitty.
We didn't see Kitty, and we saw a little bit of Spot.
We heard him.
Heard, that's what it was. Heard Spot. So other than that, like the only thing I would have asked for, I guess, was like a glimpse of the Munster coach, besides in the intro and outro.
Yeah.
And
watching this in the intro and outro again, I was like, man, I'm really gonna miss this.
Yeah.
Because it's just so good, and
Well,
that's something that I was like the past decade in the 2010s. A lot of TV moved away from doing intros so they could try to monetize their time more wisely, I guess.
yeah.
And I hated that. I hated that so much. There's nothing better than a good intro.
Wouldn't it? Wouldn't it be nice? No.
Oh, I thought you were going to go into the Little Mermaid song.
Oh gosh, no. Wouldn't it be funny? Because like we saw that Rob Zombie's, Mr. Zombie's, the Munsters film did like a semi intro to season 2. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't it be interesting? And oh my God, people do not attack me for saying this, because if you don't like it, fine. But wouldn't it be cool if like the Munsters movie happened, and at the end, or like there's a segment in the movie where like it's the Munsters end up in Hollywood type thing, like because we've seen it in the show multiple times, and that intro is in there because it's Hollywood trying to make them into a TV show.
I don't hate it.
You know,
it's
what I mean?
not the first time this has happened for a show. You know,
like you know, it wouldn't be much different than when they rebooted Bewitched in the movie with Will Ferrell.
Yeah, that was so good. I love that movie.
So
I know a lot of people don't, but I do.
Yeah, but no. As far as a finale, yeah, I wish there was more. We do know we get another movie with the cast,
Minus Marilyn,
minus Pat Priest playing Marilyn. We get another actress. I think it's Debbie something or another. I forget her. I'm sorry. I haven't looked into the movie that much because I've been trying to focus on the show firsthand. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. I like to watch the stuff in person, like live, right before I talk about it, because that way I'm not distracted by like what's coming up, you know.
That's partially why I take such good notes, because I watch this stuff like days before we record.
Yeah. So do you like the fact that we end season 2, right, on this note that the teachers think that Eddie is kind of like losing it in his mind, like he's stuck in this trap in his mind, right? Of he's like glamorizing something that might not be there. When we ended season 1 with an episode semi-similar with Galen, when we did Yes, Galen, There Is a Herman, and they had the psychologist come in because they thought he was
Oh,
imagining
that's interesting.
Herman.
That's interesting.
So I thought that was really cool that they kind of ended both seasons on somewhat a semi note of people not believing these things that these kids were saying, which comes down to another point of, in the 60s, y'all just didn't believe what the fuck kids were saying. I'm sorry. Like, come on now. This is why so many kids got kidnapped back then.
Yeah, it's Debbie Watson who played Marilyn, by the way. Yeah.
Okay.
And she was considered a universal starlet at the time.
Yeah. They wanted to boost her. Which we'll get into that when we talk about the movie and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like I really enjoyed that, like, look back
Don't forget that this season 2 started with Herman's psychology.
Yeah. Well, that's because we ended season 1 with a psychologist. We started season 2 with a psychologist, and then we end season 2 with, them thinking that there's something wrong with this kid's brain.
Yeah.
We just don't get a psychologist involved, but it's kind of like on the same level. So I thought that was really cool that we were able to do that stuff with it.
Do you want to move on to talking about the season as a whole?
Yeah, let's do that. Season 2 as a whole.
Yeah. Do you have an episode that sticks out in your mind?
That's a good question. I'm assuming you do, since you asked the question.
So mine, Herman's driving test. It's still that that scene at the end with the trying to get his license. I have not laughed harder in any of these except that episode. So that one definitely number 1 for me.
Okay. Mine's got to be a tie between, I'm going to say, Herman's Peace Offensive and Zombo. So I enjoyed both of those. Oh, wait. And the Fregosi Emerald. I really like the Fregosi Emerald. Because we get to see more of, I think that was the episode anyways, where we get to see more of the grandpa, the Herman, like the facial reactions from everybody and stuff. So it's hard to pick one out of the 32 episodes for me, which I think it was 32.
There's so many good ones.
Yeah. And to just pick one out of, all 7, you said 70 episodes? We watched 70 episodes already? Okay. So yeah, to pick one out of the 70 episodes, I would never be able to do that. Just, it's hard enough to pick one out of just one season each for me. Yeah.
Well, just sticking at the season 2, how do you feel it compares to season 1? Because season 1, I felt had its missteps, especially towards the end with that one episode where every character seemed to be different for no reason. I felt like season 2, they found their footing. They know what the characters were, and they know what they wanted them to do. And it was consistent with all of their personalities, minus Mr. Gateman. Yeah. And they use that basis for who they are to elevate the humor of what they were doing. Like when they went to the beach, or they divided up their house, or both Herman and Lily getting jobs.
We definitely get to see more of the family aspect. I would say more in this season than in the first season, for sure. You definitely get to see people finally being able to show their acting potential in this season as versus the first season. And Lily and Marilyn actually get more screen time in the second season, for sure. What?
You have pretty ugly faces in the scroll.
Yeah.
For anyone listening on audio, he has a scroll on the video on the bottom.
Apparently Tivis never reads those throughout the show.
No, I'm usually looking at my notes. I ran out of notes.
I gave him downtime. Yeah, I mean, as far as season 2 goes as a whole, dude, it's it it doesn't have like those standout episodes, I guess, that not standout episodes. It doesn't have those
Quotable scenes
quotable episodes, yeah,
that the
that
first season.
everybody
I agree
knows
with that.
about, that they just toss up because they're like, hey, this, but it's completely out of context from the episode. So yeah, it definitely to me is just a better season overall for the family. So you can explore the family element, so you can explore the characters, so you explore the actors actually becoming these characters more and more. And then of course, letting Marilyn and Lily have more screen time in this season than the first season was also nice. You got to see Marilyn go from being, just a piece of meat for all these guys to look at, to an actual character, like
Yes.
where she's being utilized as what should the word be? A supporting character to Lily.
Like a supporting family member in general,
Yeah.
not just someone who's there to get a date side
Right.
plot.
Right. I mean, they utilize that somewhat still sometimes, but usually it's to help the family out. Like we saw in the previous episode where she used her succubus powers in the prison and got Herman out of jail a lot faster and stuff. So, yeah, her succubus powers.
But if we're
I
comparing
would love
the
to
two,
have Pat Priest on and just ask her if she thinks Marilyn was a succubus or not.
I would love that.
Be like,
I would
"What do you
really
think?"
love that.
Like, just ask her, be like, hey, so everyone in the family had something. What do you think it was that Marilyn had? Because she is like, quote unquote, the ugly duckling of the family, there had to be something there. So, yeah.
Just comparing the two, I think I enjoyed more of season 2 than season 1. But as you said, season 1 does have a lot of those iconic quotes. Overall, like watching this series from, all 70 episodes, it's when we started this, I had an idea of what the Munsters were. And for the most part, it was kind of that, but also like it was a lot more family oriented than I originally thought. Less like crazy antics like I remember from, the Addams Family and stuff. Like, there's no wonder that this has just stuck with people, because like we both have said it, and I'm sure a lot of the listeners feel the same way. You could just pick points in this show that you can relate to with your family. Like at any given point in the series, there's got to be at least one thing they do that reminds you of something that you've seen a family member, or they've told you a story that they've done or something similar.
Yeah. And
So,
there are also things that have, sorry, some of the story arcs anyway, some of like the elements, the story elements that they use within the Munsters have moved on to many sitcoms nowadays, that still go like you have, besides George Lopez, because they literally spoofed the show.
which I just watched that 2 days ago.
Again.
Well, it's Halloween time again. I'm starting my playlist back up.
But like you have all those shows like King of Queens was kind of like, they just didn't have kids in that show, but they had her dad, which was basically like their kid or grandpa, because he was always fucking something up.
A lot of preceding or not preceding, following sitcoms definitely.
You can see
If
elements.
we're not Yeah, if they didn't take like ideas directly from this show or something that followed, this definitely helped shape how those shows came about in the
Right.
minds of the writers.
Right. Because there's not many shows before the Munsters that that I can remember anyways seeing. I'm sure some people out there are, and you can definitely correct us if we're wrong. But there's not many shows before the Munsters that I can remember certain, styles and things moving on to the nowadays sitcoms that we have, or like all the sitcoms in the 90s and early 2000s, because that was really the era of sitcoms. I feel was like the 90s, because you had like what was it? Like there's so many to even remember them all. Because a lot of people, when they think sitcoms, they're like the Friends. Well, yeah, but it's not the same as like your family ones, your King of Queens, your Malcolm in the Middles, and
Grounded with rules.
Grounded for Life.
Grounded for Life.
Grounded for Life. Oh, I love that show, by the way.
Yeah.
And you have all those ones.
Oh, eight Simple Rules for Dating My Teenage Daughter.
That was a good one. Oh, rest in peace. I'm trying to think of like some really good ones from the 90s I used to watch.
Malcolm in the Middle.
Malcolm in the Middle, I said that.
Oh, did you? I'm sorry.
No, that's a good. Everybody Loves Raymond.
Raymond. George Lopez, well, you already said.
George Lopez. You had, man, there's so many. I used to watch so many of them. Mad About You.
Mad About You, yeah. That one's hard to find now for some reason. Yeah, the DVDs are out of print and they don't have them on digital.
It's not streaming anywhere?
Not that I know of, no.
That feels like something that should be streaming alongside Friends, especially since they crossed over. But you had like
with the whole blackout.
Home Improvement.
Home Improvement,
which I'm
yes.
surprised Home Improvement never spoofed the Munsters in any way.
Yeah, especially with how they like Home Improvement has some of the best Halloween specials.
Right.
That and Roseanne.
Which is funny because I was watching an episode of Last Man Standing, and like he's just like completely over Halloween in the episode. I was like, wait, this is kind of like a complete turn from Home Improvement. Awesome. But still into Christmas in that. Show. But you had like Boy Meets World, 70s Show, The Nanny.
The Nanny.
There's so many. King of Queens. Did I say that one already?
Yeah, I think we named off the majority of them.
The main ones,
at least the popular ones.
Yeah, like the Drew Carey Show and stuff like that.
Drew Carey, forgot about that one.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I'm looking at some of these in here to see if any of them are like, ooh, Dharma and Greg was good. Oh, Dinosaurs. Dinosaurs
yeah,
definitely took. You cannot tell me you watched the show Dinosaurs. And I'm talking about the 1991 show, guys. It went on for 3-4 seasons, I think. I have the whole series.
It didn't go on for very long.
It was about 4 seasons, 3-4 seasons. I think you can watch it on Disney Plus now, but
4? Oh my God.
See? You cannot tell me you can watch Dinosaurs and not think that they took an idea from the Munsters, because it is basically the same thing. They're just dinosaurs. They're an average, American working class family of dinosaurs, mixed family of dinosaurs, by the way. Just trying to live their life and work it through and do all this and that. The
bleakest ending out of any show ever.
The what?
The bleakest ending out of any show ever.
I don't remember the ending. I have to continue watching it. But yeah, so like that, the whole element of the idea of we can just take anything and turn it into an average, ordinary family. So, yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of them out there, man. There's some good ones. There's some horrible sitcoms.
I would be interested to go back now that we've watched all of this show and watched Leave It to Beaver, since we know that Connolly and Mosier worked on that as well.
Yeah, Leave It to Beaver.
I want to see if like some of the basis of what made the Munsters great was in that show, or if some of the ideas from that morphed into the Munsters.
Didn't they also work on Dennis the Menace as well? The original? or no? Or was that after this?
Tell you. I don't know.
I'm not seeing anything besides the 93 movie, which is totally wrong. Here, there's 1959.
Yeah.
Why is it
no, I don't see them on the creator list.
Okay.
That was Ackerman.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, no, as far as like a whole for the series, where are you?
I can't believe more people haven't seen this show, quite honestly. It holds up. I mean, putting aside the time that it was made, it holds up so well with sitcoms today. Like, just
definitely.
And this is definitely a show. Like, if you've been listening to us and haven't been watching along, I highly recommend just going back here and watching it. Just watch it. It's a fun time. It really is.
Yeah, definitely. And it's a cheap fun time too, because it's not that much. I think it's like $20 or something like that right now to buy the whole series, and then you also get the first 2 movies with Fred and Al in them, and then you get a documentary.
One of the documentaries, which we still have to watch.
But yeah, I can't see a reason as to why people, anyways, that like the Munsters or anything like that, would not watch all these episodes. It's definitely worth your time, especially if you're sitting around waiting for the next 2 years for Stranger Things season 5 or whatever to come out. So,
I feel attacked.
You have time. Just go ahead and do it. Instead of, I don't know what's out there. Like me, like yesterday, I wasted my entire day watching true crime documentaries. I actually ended up wasting 4 hours of my life watching frickin' Tiger King 2. Like, I had no reason to do that. I should have been watching more Munsters content or something else that's on my list, because none of these things were on my list.
Watching paint dry.
Anyways, do we want to talk about next episode? We're not sure if it's coming out next week, guys, because we have some stuff going on medically for me, and my birthday is also next week. Jeez, I'm dying here. So I
don't say that after saying medical problems. They're gonna believe it.
It's true though.
I mean, we all technically are, but that's not. But he's fine. All right. If he doesn't make it, I'll let you know.
Hopefully, Tivis knows all the logins to get you guys another episode.
I have no idea how to access the website.
I'll have to send you that stuff. But for real, ow, don't make me laugh. Oh shit, that hurts.
But yes, we don't know if we will be back next week or if we will be taking a week off. Stay tuned to our socials for news on that. But we will be talking about, Myke.
We are going to talk about the Mini Munsters, which is from 1973. So we're actually jumping ahead a decade just to watch this before we dive into our movies and stuff. This is going to be, and this is the noise Tivis, our season 2 of the podcast finale for you guys. Today was the season finale. Today was the season finale of the Munsters show. And that's going to be our season. The Mini Munsters is going to be our finale episode, like we did last time we did.
With the pilot
episode. Yes. So we're going to do this one. We're going to jump ahead to it because it really doesn't. I don't think it adds much to the movie. It doesn't really need the movies, as far as I know.
I've heard some things.
We'll see. But we're gonna watch that, and we will.
You're talking about the lore. It doesn't. No, yeah. It's for those that don't know, which you should.
by now with everything that's going on in the Munsters, verse. It's a cartoon that came out. It's not very long. It's mainly about Eddie and some friends of his, from what I understand.
Yeah. And it is the only person who reprises their role is Al Lewis. And we'll get into all that.
Because he refuses to stop being Grandpa.
Grandpa Munster or what was the Grandpa or Gamp? I forget what the other one was from Freaky Fridays or Scary Friday or Scary Saturday. Sorry, I can't talk.
What are you talking about?
So in the Munsters, he's Grandpa with a P, how you spell it properly, and then in the Super Scary Saturdays, he is here. Let me pull it up before I misspeak for myself. I freaking wrote the article. You think I would know, right? Grandpa is who he is with a DPA. Grandpa is who he is in Super Scary Saturday. So he wasn't, so they wouldn't get in any trouble by saying he's Grandpa, but he's Grandpa, if that makes sense. GRANDPA.
Yes.
Is
now that you mentioned your article, it's flooding back into my head. Myke has been writing some really great stuff for the site. If you haven't gone to check out the couple articles he has on there, go do so.
Both have to do with Al Lewis. Right now. So
one deals with wrestling.
Wrestling and Al Lewis. Definitely check the website out, and then check out Mini Munsters for the next episode that comes out, guys. You can find it, I believe, on YouTube, pretty much everywhere. You just Google The Mini Munsters, and it's an 18-minute video, and we're going to try and have guest Austin Mosier on with us again for that one. Try and make that a little continuing thing where he comes on for the last episode of each season for us. We'll see.
Basically, he won't leave us alone until we bring him back, and we're just tired of it, so he's coming back. We'll try and control him because he has some opinions that we don't have yet about certain projects that are coming. He's wrong about the movie.
So definitely enjoy all of the content that we have out, guys, for you, and we hope that
we didn't talk about after the Mini Munsters.
Yes,
let's mention that real quick. You said that we were going to do the movies. Yes, we will be doing not just the 60s movies, I believe, but you have changed it on me, and we are now doing all 4 movies before we move into, well, I guess all 5 movies now with Rob Zombie.
6. So we have the 1966 movie, the 70 movie, the 90s,
70s is one I'm forgetting
90s
about.
movies, the 2000 Mockingbird, 1313 Mockingbird Lane movie. That's 5, and then Rob Zombies. We're gonna try and watch Rob Zombies.
That was not a movie. That's a pilot.
It's long enough to be a movie. We're considering it.
It's only an hour. It's less than an hour.
That's considered a movie to me.
It is not a movie.
Okay, Stranger Things with 5-hour episodes.
Don't give me. I like that show, but come on, some of us don't want to be sitting there forever.
So and when Rob Zombie's movie comes out, we will try and get that one put in wherever we're at in the rotation. We're not gonna wait to finish it up and then do Rob Zombie's film.
Yeah, we're gonna be doing that one immediately as soon as we get our hands on it.
Right. People know. We know people want to hear about that movie more importantly than some of the older stuff. Not that the older stuff isn't important, because I want to watch the older stuff too. Yeah, but we definitely know that everybody wants to hear it. Plus, it might get us some more listeners, some new listeners, if they click the Rob Zombie, this movie is totally awesome, or this movie blows type of, clickbait bullshit. So we might find some new fans out there from the Munsters fandom.
Or new haters.
Yeah, new haters. Speaking of which, you guys can also share us on all social media. Please definitely do that. Share the podcast, share the videos. so people can see our pretty ugly faces through the MunsterCast YouTube channel. If you're already watching on YouTube, please definitely hit the like, share, and subscribe button. The little bell notification, I guess, is what people are always saying to me when I watch their videos. So could you please do that as well? It costs you nothing. And then if you're listening on any podcast services,
unless you have arthritis, then it might cost you a little pain.
Right. Definitely, if you're listening on any podcast services, like leave us some likes or thumbs or stars or whatever the heck, because every service is different. So leave us some of those, leave us some comments so we can see those. No matter what country you live in, I can still access your comments. It just takes a little longer for me to get them from overseas, unfortunately. Especially because of the way Apple does it, they like split their things into territories. It's really weird, man. It's really weird and annoying.
Don't get me started on the things Apple does that I don't like.
Definitely.
I don't like the fact that every time I plug my damn phone into my computer, it erases my music playlist.
And then definitely let us know how we're doing, guys, and what you're interested in us talking about next. As far as the movies go, once we start the movies, like I said, we're going to try and do them in order that they came out, at least the first two. The other ones, after you do the first two movies, nothing else really matters in order because none of it is...
no, we will be doing it in continuity or you're going to break me.
I'll break him. I'll break him. It's okay, Daddy.
Oh, God.
Also, everybody, if you are on Twitter, at Tivis014, and tell him to write his damn bio for the website so we can get a bio up there.
I keep forgetting. I'll do it.
Otherwise, I am keeping the bio on the page, which I have written up there, which calls him Daddy several times.
It does. You know what the sad part is? I texted you that I hated you before I got to the part that says that he will message me right after reading this. It's like, God damn it, I just played into his hand.
That's awesome, man. Awesome. So do you have any final thoughts or words on the first two seasons, man, or this episode or anything?
If you have not bought the box set that we have been plugging since we started, do so. It is so good. The show is just timeless. Like, you will enjoy it. It is worth the investment, and I'm really looking forward to seeing, what comes next. The movies, even mini Munsters, even though, 3 individuals have warned me away from it. And yeah, Mike is holding if you're watching the video, Mike's holding the box in his hands. And I'm excited to see where the characters go from here. I know we're leaving behind the main cast here soon, but
yeah,
the characters can live beyond that, and I'm personally okay with that.
Definitely. I mean, you have to be, especially moving into like Rob Zombie's film and everything else that we're about to move into. If you guys end up, we talked to several of you guys out there that love the Munsters, and we always hear good things about Al Lewis and Fred Gwynn and Pat Priest and Yvonne and all that.
If you got any stories you want to share,
definitely share us some stories. You can come on to the podcast. We will pause an entire episode for you to come on, like pause, like not watching a movie or a TV show or anything like that, for y'all to come on and just do a chat with us. If we get enough people that want to do it in the same week, we can definitely do that. Just know that
we'll have like a round table or something.
Yeah, we can do like a round table. And these are the same discussions too that we can also have on Discord, which you can access that through patreon.com. / the MunsterCast. So
one thing we should mention is that we will be attempting to get Daniel back after the movie comes out, so there might be a little interruption in the movie viewing.
Oh yeah, definitely.
We got to figure that out with our new schedules, but we're definitely going to try.
I've been trying to reach out to Jeff Daniels too, and even Rob. So
any luck with Butch Patrick?
I have not yet. No.
Damn. All right.
But I would love to get Rob Zombie on, Mr. Zombie, because being the director of one, that would be pretty cool. I'm not sure. Maybe we could even look into try and getting some of the directors from some of the movies too, because I highly doubt any of the directors are still around from this show that we just finished. But getting some of the directors from there, some of the actors from some of those movies and or TV show that we're going to start on eventually.
I've said in the past, I'd be interested to talk to anyone involved with making these,
Definitely.
The lighting guy, the sound person, the costume designer. I don't care. You're going to have fascinating stories I want to hear.
Right. So if you are one of those people, message us on social media, contact us through email. It's TheMunsterCast@outlook.com. Go to our website as well. Check it out. See if it's something you're interested in. Definitely figure out a way to get a hold of us. There's so many avenues to get a hold of us because we're on, like I said, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, all at The MunsterCast. Pretty Ugly Faces, the MunsterCast YouTube channel, if you want to see us there.
I know we're wrapping up, and I don't want to continue bogging us down with more tangents before we close, but we were contacted by the person that makes, sorry, I forgot your name off the top of my head and I can't look it up right now because my computer's acting up, but they create those awesome Woof Woof recreations. We haven't been able, with our new schedule, get them on, but they're really awesome and I want to give them a shout out. Go check out that stuff. Pick one up. I think all you have to do is Google and it'll come right up because they look like the original stuff.
Looking anyways. They're not originals, but they are handmade, I believe, and they're really cool. And reach out to that person. If I find the link before this episode goes up, I will put it in the descriptions for you, everybody, to find that there. But yeah, definitely just contact us, guys. We love you all. Fans, haters, I don't care. If a hater wants to come on the show and talk with us, let it happen. You might not want your kids to listen to that episode, but let it happen.
90210.
With that said, guys, I really enjoyed doing this whole series with everybody out there.
This has been a fun ride. Thank you for the idea, Myke.
Definitely. This has been an idea that's been in my head for years, and then I brought it up to Tivis one time after we recorded an episode of Operation Babel, and we've just been going with the flow, trying to figure out how we were going to do it, what we were going to do, and we never expected to actually have any listeners. I didn't realize how big of a fandom there was for the Munsters, and I really appreciate you guys all giving us your support, just by even listening to us. You're giving us your support, and definitely have been enjoying the conversations through emails and Twitter and all that fun stuff. So
yes, thank you guys, really.
You
have made this so much more enjoyable, and I would have had a fantastic time just talking about it with my friend here.
Definitely.
I think we should wrap up.
Yeah, definitely gonna wrap up. I'm so glad I got to finish this series though before I die.
You shouldn't say that.
I had my second x-ray this year though, so that's a fun thing for this week if everyone wants to know that. Coming up on I think I'm still under my minimum, so that's good.
Wouldn't that be your max?
No, I'm still under my minimum, or my minimum x-rays per year I think has been 3 before.
Oh, okay.
So as long as I stay under no more x-rays this year.
This is a weird thing to end on. Thank you all for listening.
Grandpa Munster.
Thank you all for listening. Thank you, Myke, for everything you do for the show. I look forward to where we go next.
Awesome. And with that said, guys, we will catch you next time as we take another stroll down 1313 Mockingbird Lane.
The lesson I want you to learn is it doesn't matter what you look like. You can be tall or short, or fat or thin, or ugly, or handsome, like your father. Or you can be black or yellow or white. It doesn't matter. heart and the strength of your character.